3, 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Stories from the Unbound Shores. Where last left off, the group had ventured into the Forgotten Fortress and begun making plans for how they were going to, the more specific plans for how they were going to deal with Atlas and Eleanor. However, in the intervening time in real life, some unfortunate events occurred, causing a long delay between sessions, and I am no longer capable of running the scene that should have taken place next. In light of that, there were some discussions offline via text to try and still at least get the information and let us move forward so we keep playing as opposed to just stopping altogether. With some of the highlights being asking who kicked out Atlas and why. With him not being entirely certain, would have given names of people that are no longer alive, but does not know why, as it seems to be was all kind of done under false charges. How did he become a part of the cult of Tiamat? He changed to her cult when he went to save Eleanor, because it was one of the only powerful organizations on the continent at the time, and he needed help. And while they are not predisposed to helping people, they are somewhat greedy, and so promises of large sums of gold can help move them that direction. And was Atlas ever aware of any intervention in his own life by Vecna or his agents? Simply no. What else? Why he protected the Drow without a Stray? It's because at the time he was still following Bahamut, and it was the right thing to do. And let's see, the next questions were here. What was he actually doing in the city of Steelport? He was trying to capture the sorcerer to use some of her blood in a spell. Which also answers question 2 of why he seemed to be after the sorcerer. And the question of what was his goal was to resurrect himself and Eleanor. Is there anything else? This is kind of slapped together, I know, but at least we'll get everything covered. First, that's been answered. I think that's it. Did I miss anything important?
That is a good question.
How about the better question? Did we miss anything important? Are there any more pressing questions we feel need asking?
True. If there are more questions that must be asked, now is the time.
Ooh, we could ask him if he knows anything about the increased undead presence in the Elysium. Or the Void Tears.
Alright.
Good.
I don't know anything about these tears, but when the fallout between the Raven Queen and the Rule happened, he did. Nurul was one of his last acts here in this world, at least. Did something to this continent. I don't know if he is connected to somewhere it shouldn't be, whether it's under some form of enchantment. I don't know the specifics, but something he did has caused things to take a turn for the worse for others.
So, as far as you know, the increase in undead is not related to you and your activities.
Not directly. There might be some more in this immediate vicinity due to my presence, but nothing I've done actively.
Can you account for the dwarves here?
Define?
This place was full of dwarves, but when we got here, it was full of skeletons. Those are
Yes.
definitely undead.
And those were mine, but the only ones I've made.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
I think that's what he meant by more in the immediate vicinity.
I just wanted to clarify.
Well, that's not quite what I meant by more than me.
Oh.
By my presence, undead are drawn to this
Oh.
area.
Well, that's an
My
interesting fact about Death Knights I didn't know.
kind have an innate aura to command and lead them. While most I either dealt with or just sent along. There was nothing I could do to stop myself from acting as a beacon. Like a moth to a flame.
I'm tempted to be real annoying, but I don't think that it's what Sorry would actually do. I'm just tired and amused.
I won't stop you.
I mean, okay, out of character, this is what I'm thinking. So how has the last 500 years of undeath treated you?
Boring.
But not. Even if it's something that she would ask, and I'm not entirely sold on that. It's not how she would ask it.
Alright, so I want something for my clarification.
Alright.
He said that this whole dealie with Amelie was to perform this dodgy ritual to get back Eleanor and release him from his undeath thing, so they could be together but live. Our solution has them together but dead.
Yes.
We're cool with that. He's cool with that. Like, everybody okay with that?
I mean, he's willing to give it a try. He just wants to...
Wow.
Excuse me. He just wants to be with her.
Okay.
He's had enough of this world. He's been here a very long time for a human, or at least what was a human.
Yeah. Alright, just wanted to make sure, because, like, it sounded to me like, man, if he'd maybe, I don't know, sent a letter or talked to these people ever, that maybe they could have, actually made this work. But
He tried. They weren't exactly in the mood for receiving communications.
Oh, well, I'm certain that whatever the fuck the thing was that killed Amelie was much better solution.
No, I deserve that.
So, anyway, just wanted to be certain all parties involved are at least accepting of the solution we have.
I mean, if we've gotten to this point, it's pretty much guaranteed that he is accepting of this.
I know. But it was one of the things that came up as the answer to a question that we asked after we knew this all would have been accepted. We never knew that he had some scheme to fix it on his own terms. And now we have interrupted that. I'm not saying the way he was doing it was right, I'm just saying it was
No, I know.
different.
We knew he had some idea to do some, or has at least been trying. But anyway.
Did we?
I mean...
I would argue that no, we never knew that he, as far as we know, he couldn't see or interact with her spirit. At best, he was going to try and lay her to rest, and then he was still stuck the way he is until he repented, which wasn't about to happen.
I mean... gestures vaguely at bookshelves that are covered in tomes about resurrection and on death and life and blah 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 blah. I take that as proof. Who's fucking at the door? I saw that.
Me. Has to be me.
I saw that.
I don't know. It just bothered me it was open for some reason.
I mean, a hope is not a plan.
I suppose.
We absolutely
Perhaps
didn't
I was giving
know
him too
or
much
have.
credit then.
We didn't know or have any way of knowing that he actually had, like, a thing that might work. You know, like a thing. Okay, a particular goal that might work. For all we knew, he was still just
Throwing things at a wall, seeing what stuck.
basically, and most of that was just kill people, which wasn't helpful to us. He killed a pair of clerics. We didn't know what that was all about.
We could find out now.
They attacked me.
This.
That wording.
Not ideal.
I think your exact words to them were, "Come and get it, bitch."
He said that.
It was not a friendly chat that they had.
Busy, off day. I don't know, man.
Anyway. So we have the solution. We have these reasons given for some things. Were you doing... Were there any tasks that the followers of Tiamat had given you that gave you any insight into their immediate goals that we might need to know about?
Nothing comes to mind.
They didn't let you into their organization and give you resources without expecting you to give something back.
And part it gave
Gold.
financial aid, but I think my presence here causing a bit of a distraction might have been what they wanted. Something here that wouldn't die, that would continue to cause problems.
Wait, what's serving as a distraction?
His presence serving as a distraction for Tiamat's other plans, so he doesn't need to know what she's doing. But that could have something to do with the Paladins leaving.
Indeed.
So I guess then they would be the better source of information about anything like that, and it is reasonable to think that they are already doing their best to deal with it.
Oh. In case you plan to come back here at some point, allow me to point out which book would tell you how to disable the ward on the circle.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Where is the other end of the circle? No, wait, that's just...
There is no other end?
Yes, I recall, sorry. That is not a thing that
You make the other end. This is not a Stargate, this is a, okay, I write these sigils on the ground, now I go to that place.
Yes. Melisari doesn't ask that question because she knows it. I just had a brain fart.
Entirely un-Stargate-like.
Alright. So he'll go over and just kind of pull out a book and set it on the table.
By the way, where's Eleanor in all this?
Still kind of wandering the room, doing her thing.
So the idea is that we will release her after this talk.
I believe so.
Okay.
Like, kill her, release her, or like, tell her it's been dealt with, release her?
Whatever the needed steps are so that she does not remain a ghost and moves on to the Shadowfell, presumably with him.
More tell her, release her, and telling her wouldn't really do much.
But all the Eleanor stuff was the stuff that we're hand-waving rather than roleplaying.
Yeah, I know. Okay, anyway. Okay, well... I don't know, I can't think of anything else.
Thomas?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anything about the worldly situation here affected by this undead man killing a lot of people over his lost lover that you want to know more about?
I can't think of anything. I think you've gone over everything. I can't think of anything else.
What was the gift pile a placeholder for again?
Bathtub.
Ah. Been a while.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming at this point.
What about that nightmare?
Oh yeah, that's a loose end, huh?
A little bit.
With the right spells, it's possible to bind one. Though it is difficult, and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone living, as it can have pursuers involved.
Pursuers?
Nightmares are fiends. They're not always unowned when summoned.
Melisari makes a mental note to pass this information on to Al. Can you release it? Does it just go back?
It released itself when you killed me the first time. Or not first, second time, I guess, technically. Last time.
So you bound it in between those times.
Made a special friend in the near ethereal.
Melisari is smiling to herself.
What does that smile mean?
I'm just remembering things. That's all.
Oh, see invisibility making you happy?
Yes, it is. I feel like I pissed the shit out of. Pissed off the shit, whatever.
Wow.
I was annoying as fuck during that fight.
A little bit.
I'm proud of it. What?
I said a little bit.
I was very proud of that. I was also very proud of my force bubble. I'm real sad I didn't get to actually use that.
I mean, but you did.
I mean, yeah, but... I didn't get to say I was doing it.
Alright, so... they're gonna go be dead together.
It's okay.
The nightmare isn't a problem. Unless it chooses to be.
It might still be around. It shouldn't be, but it had the option. So, might send it back for you if you get a chance.
I don't love the idea of enslaving it with spells.
No, not that. Just killing it, returning it to, I don't know, devil or like a devil or a demon. I think it's a devil. So back to the hells where it came
Didn't
from.
we learn how they're created? Didn't Melisari find out how they're made?
I believe so.
Wait, what did I find out?
How nightmares are made?
I don't remember, so I'm gonna go double check.
I don't remember.
I think it was...
Not familiar.
I think they're made individually by, like, wizards.
It's that why you do this.
I do not have
If you know audio.
recollection.
Derek has died. Now we can do anything in the game,
I'm
and he
back.
can't stop us. Fuck.
My headset stopped giving me any and all audio, which was fun. So I might need to see about replacing this thing. So what was the question?
I will answer it myself in just a moment.
I remember doing something with the nightmare, which I'm pulling up now.
Yes, it was, where do nightmares come from?
Nightmares
Creating a
don't
nightmare.
occur naturally in the multiverse. They must be created from a Pegasus. A ritual that creates a nightmare requires the torturous removal of its wings, driving that noble creature to evil as it is transformed by black magic. Or dark blood.
Wow, that's depressing.
Yeah,
I have no recollection of that.
I did. I just
I
thought it
remember-
was...
Apparently.
I remember in this case, I just can't remember if it's like a Pegasus or a unicorn, or maybe something like that. Right, that's why this thing isn't a devil or a demon, it's just a fiend. One of the few things that is that moniker.
It is used by both, either, whichever. Carrying demons, devils, death knights, liches, night hags, and other vile monsters. It resembles a fiendish
vile.
horse.
So then, allow me to restate what he said now about more of how these things work. Still the whole binding thing, but It's now just kind of loose. And for the record, no, I didn't make it.
You just found it out there?
Sort of. It was trapped. I released it. And then, well, more or less
Found it.
retrapped it.
It was trapped, so then you trapped it. In a spell.
More or less.
And I'm sure it's in a particularly good mood now that it's finally actually free and able to be whatever it wants to be, which could be super bad for the local flora and fauna.
Well, just follow the columns of smoke.
Yeah.
If it's... Oh, that, I guess, was the answer to the question I was about to ask.
What was the question anyways, just so that I know?
How we would go about finding it. If it is still in the vicinity.
I mean, you were able to see it somehow, and in a way it shouldn't have been able to.
Know that.
And under what?
I said he doesn't know that.
I think he can put two and two together that you kept hitting him.
I didn't hit him, I counterspelled him.
Which still requires line of sight.
Yeah, but I didn't hit him.
But when it's on the material plane, given it's in a forest, well, it's mostly forest, just keep an eye out for large fires, and you'll likely find it somewhere nearby. It is intelligent. It can understand some languages, but it can't speak.
Is it open to... What's the word I'm looking for? Negotiation?
Possibly. I didn't have a way to have it communicated with me, so I wouldn't know.
Does he know what languages they speak?
Common and Infernal.
I see.
I'd imagine you might get somewhere if you could promise to somehow repair its wings, but I wouldn't have the faintest idea of how to go about that.
It's not like a regeneration spell would work. It's an entirely different creature now.
Maybe if it was tied with a casting of Remove Curse or something. Just kind of musing on this.
Possibly. But I think this torturous removal, the intended outcome, is that it is irreparably damaged.
No, sorry, kind of just... Eyes move back and forth between Roland and Atlas.
What?
It is a question that can be asked, and then a solution can be decided once the question has been answered.
What question?
Whether it is willing to negotiate or be other than it is.
I see.
I think your Goddess of the Moon would have something to say about it. Second chances and all that.
Assuming I see.
No, but you could roll religion to try and understand why he significantly pauses and chuckles about it before saying it.
I can't find my dice.
I can make a guess, but even I don't know entirely.
I don't are.
What?
I mean, you want to use a Killspire dice then?
Yeah.
No.
I'll use it for you. It'll be great.
No.
Ah, mine was better. Mine died.
Nope, it was murdered.
Waited. At least it was above a 10.
Yeah, I got 6.
Yeah.
One more try.
Nice. You did better. Okay, then.
Am I rolling again? Religion?
Religion.
At least that one was above half.
15.
15. His reason for saying it the way he did is probably related to his individual religious beliefs.
So something having to do with the relationship between Saloon and or say
Illustrate.
yeah, Illustrate or both.
Yeah. Something to do with Illustrate, Lolth, Sayanine, or some combination thereof.
Yeah. So in other words, I have a vague idea.
I feel like because it's... I don't know. What would you say your character's interest in those relations is without adding in the drow that she knows? Drow that she knows.
I don't know. I would say it's something that she's vaguely aware of, but doesn't have, like, not something that she's studied extensively. Just, you know, she's vaguely aware of the stories and whatever.
Yeah. He seems to have some opinion that he just tries to kind of chuckle away before saying, "You're a goddess of the moon." Guessing tight.
Ow.
He hurt his face with his giant sneeze.
No, I hit my butt when I sneezed and farted.
I'm so happy that's on the recording.
That's a sentence.
You asked!
I didn't.
He did not. There was no question there.
I simply made an inaccurate statement. I didn't ask for correction.
Fine, that's the same thing for me.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
How's Aurelion doing with all this? How's his butt?
Actually, who was possessed by what's her face?
You were.
You.
Is it Aurelion?
Yeah.
Is he still possessed,
No.
No.
or has this moved on from that?
I think that, like, either there was a temporary possession and we're gonna finish it up later, or we haven't done that yet. I'm not entirely certain.
I'd say temporary.
Yeah, so this is like...
Yeah, I think we would have needed her aid
Cool.
in getting him to come around.
This is like a quick Q&A before we, like, put the kibosh on everything. This is, like, the tying the bow around it. But you're here. You're conscious. You're able to speak. You've got these guys saying weighty things in your presence.
Are you taking notes?
Got it memorized?
Oh, Jesus. Thanks, Lee. Actually, I don't know if that was a Lee thing or just an Axel
It
thing.
was an
That's
Axel
interesting
thing.
question. Well, yes, but Axel is Lee.
I know.
Spoilers.
I have played like 5 of the games.
I don't even know what games we're talking about.
Don't need to. Don't worry about it.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll ask later.
So, there's implications being made about gods and, you know, the attempt to wind this down into, okay, time to die.
Is Atlas ready? Is he so ready?
I'm wondering if Aurelion is ready. Is Aurelion so ready?
Oh, this is like above his pay grade.
No, this is
He's
exactly at your pay grade.
This is literally what you're being paid to do by some people.
I
See?
don't know that Aurelion's been paid to do anything.
Yeah, I don't
Aurelion
think
was
any of
Actually,
us being paid.
You actually have, all of you, of the Temple of the Raven Queen. When Al came back and met up with you guys, you received payment from them for this.
I don't remember.
I remember that because it made up for all of the pay that got docked
Oh,
from our
that's right, I
paladins.
do. I have a lot of money now.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
So, about that pay grade.
Wait, do we get more when we tell them it's done?
I don't know.
Sure.
Cool. I
Wait,
like
what
having
did they-
lots of
so-
money.
One more time on that.
I've forgotten. What do they want?
This taken care of. This problem of the Death Knight killing folk to stop. And that's what this guy's the Death Knight. And we're currently stopping him.
Well, he's stopping himself with heavy encouragement.
Well, yeah. In that the only way to stop a Death Knight is to have the Death Knight stop themselves.
Yeah. Which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, they're designed to be recurring bad guys.
Like, how in the fuck does anybody do this normally?
What we did,
They
probably.
don't.
I disagree with the use of the word normally.
Okay,
Nothing
Fair.
normal about this situation.
fair enough.
Normal is relative.
Normal is relative. Alright, so
If this is the only way to do the thing that needs to be done that we've been paid to do, then
it is the way that we came up with. Are you trying to explore other ways? Do you have ideas?
I have no clue.
Okay. Then I think my response to the question is that it is the best way that we have found at this time. We're open to suggestions for like the next 5 minutes, however. So, if something does come to mind, please feel free to speak up. But we are winding this down into he's going to repent his sins and die. And then we're going to get her to or maybe prior to that, we're going to get her to understand what's going on, accept the situation as it is, and end, which will, you know, complete her unfinished business, and then she'll get to cross over.
Yeah, I think that's the route.
I think we have to reunite them, so I think he still has to be here for that. So that's where your possession comes into this, so that she can actually
Back into this.
see what's going on here, because while this is going on, she's basically just an echo.
She can end the possession. Voluntarily, right?
I feel certain that that would be the case if she chose to. She
Yep.
could.
I just couldn't remember what happened last time.
Yeah, she chose to end it last time.
But the more important one is if she doesn't choose to end it, we can forcibly end it
Yeah.
with the protection from evil and good spell.
Yeah, I was trying to determine whether that was something I would have already done. Although, actually, I do need to expend my spell slot for. Presumably, Aurelion wants me to be able to hear him while he's possessed. I have like no spell slot. Oh, and actually no, we would have all our spell slot back because it's been days. We've been sitting
Well,
here
yeah,
for
but then there
days.
was the fight. So we're kind of just like, I think we're just hand-waving spell slots.
Was there a fight though?
Yeah, you know, there was the whatever we needed to do to get him into your force bubble.
I mean,
You've expended a wall of force.
I see him. I force bubble him.
Yeah, but he could
Anyway.
save.
I don't think there is there a save against
I don't
wall
think there's a
force?
There's no save against Force Cage. I believe there is a save against the
Nope.
bubble version of Wall of Force.
Nope.
I think you're
The
thinking of
wall
the
cuts through
bubble
a
version
creature's
of.
face when it appears. The creature is pushed to one side of the wall. You choose which side.
That's if
Yeah, I
it's a
think
wall. You have to look at the one that's a bubble.
It doesn't specify. It can be a hemispherical dome or sphere radius up to 10 feet, or you can create a flat surface, but it doesn't say anything different regarding if you make it a bubble versus if you make it a wall.
Okay.
So I can only assume that it reacts the same for
you
bubbles
might be
versus
thinking
walls.
of Wall of Stone, which does have that problem,
Perhaps.
which is stupid because it's the same level spell.
Yeah, but you can kill somebody inside the wall of stone just by asphyxiating them. That might be why.
Oh my.
Which you can't do with the Wall of Force.
I guess.
Bubble, 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 bubble.
That would be my guess as to the reason why there's a save. For one and not the other. But neither here nor there. Anyway, I'm just saying that, like, there was a confrontation, some spells were probably spent, I think we're hand-waving them.
Yeah, we're just not going to worry about it.
Cool. I think that we've probably gotten all we're going to get out of him. Not my guess. Anybody?
Alright,
Any
where-
last
where is
thoughts?
it plugged in?
Do you have any cool, rare alchemical reagents or other sort of things hiding around here?
I'm going to try plugging my headphones into a different slot and see if that helps.
Sounds like fun.
That's a really cool rare alchemical ingredient.
Right?
Headset.
What the fuck is a headset?
I don't know. Probably something that you use to set heads on pikes.
That's what I use mine for.
I would have thought it would be a set of heads.
It could be a set of
for
heads,
doing
also on
questionable
pikes.
things. Plus or minus the pike.
Options are optional.
Sets of heads plus or minus pikes.
Yeah.
Accessorize.
Get that drip. My drip includes at least 8 heads.
Oh dear.
Ugh. What was this about asphyxiating? Not asphyxiating?
Walls
for
of
what?
stones
Yeah.
or bubbles of stones.
Why would Wall of Force do that?
Because Wall of Force doesn't stop air from moving. You're not stuck with a limited air supply. Creatures within a bubble of Wall of Force can still breathe.
I don't know. Nothing can physically pass through the wall.
Yes, but this is D&D, so unless it says, you can asphyxiate. The bag of holding has a 10-minute air supply. Wall of stone, probably a 10-minute air supply.
It doesn't say anything about an air supply.
Well, look, I'm just looking for explanations where there aren't any. Not my fault they were so lazy about writing the certain details in the books. Or extremely lazy about their organization of things, or deciding very incorrectly that redundancy is bad. Does my blue paint mean I'm concentrating on a spell?
Probably.
I wonder what I'm concentrating on.
I couldn't tell you, man. It's been months.
What? Probably Shield of Faith? Is that a thing you have?
Yes.
That's my guess then. We'll just say it was Shield of Faith. Mine was probably protection from you. We're good.
Was something cast on me?
Oh dear God.
Occasionally things are cast on me.
I mean, coming in here, I would have cast probably detect thoughts on you as you were being possessed.
Ugh.
Why is that dude on fire?
Now
What's that from?
thinking about what?
Can I cast detect thoughts on Atlas?
You-
I mean, I know that I can because I've done it before.
Why do you want to? What will you learn this time?
I mean, I probably would have shifted it back and forth between them a little bit and make sure that he's, telling the truth and shit. It's just an action to do it, so it's not like it costs me anything.
Are you telling the truth?
Other than, a couple seconds of not being able to hear Aurelion anymore.
He's fine
Sorry,
now, though.
Aurelion.
Quick, tell me what Aurelion is thinking.
I don't know anymore. I probably would have
Just make something up, I'll believe you.
Music.
I
There's
believe
just
you.
elevator music.
Oh man, that is actually the most believable thing you could have said.
I speak from experience. This is my own mind.
Aurelion, what's on your Muzak list? Jesus.
Banjo.
Oh, okay, banjo. Let's go with that.
Oh dear. Oh dear, I want off this ride. I drop detect thoughts like it's a hot iron. Anyway. Wordplay is fun. Alright, so we're good, we're done, we're hand waving the rest of this away and
think
heading
so.
back.
They have an
Oh wait, we have to
emotional.
find the
I
nightmare
believe so.
first.
They have an emotional reunion. He does a repent. They both die. Yay!
Yep.
Does a repent.
He does the repent.
He does throw up and sorry, I'm done.
Are you though? Are you?
Why are you slowly floating over toward me? This is very unsettling. I am uncomfortable. I am even more uncomfortable as you fondle the wall with your body.
Where'd the door go? Oh, there's the door. Thought the door was closer to me. Ooh, what is
Righto,
this?
so shall we,
What is
do
this?
you want to find a nightmare?
What is what?
They've made it so that even if you have a roof over a place, if the roof is away, it lights up the floor, the little circle, so that I'm not just staring into a totally shadowy area.
Yeah.
Eh. You know
Yeah.
what?
Default. Anyway,
Finish one thing.
Do you want to find a nightmare?
yes, we can find it tonight now.
Come on, let's go and hunt.
Mostly going to be you looking at things. I actually think I would like to start by casting the spell to make this teleportation circle acceptable. And then we can do the nightmare. So that is out of the way.
Alright.
It's so far away, Jesus.
I'll have it just be a ritual.
Wait, so I can just read it and do it and done?
Yep, you or, well, sorry.
He can do it.
Is this type of thing, like, is there value in, like, keeping the book so that it could be performed again if ever we come across something like this?
It could be, if you guys ever end up with some sort of place of residence, just like try to reverse engineer it to actually have a protection against creatures could be useful. Mages' towers might have monetary interest.
I like the sound of that.
You want to give me
I
the
also
book?
like the sound of killing anything that comes and tries to bug me, so... What?
I said you already left me with the book.
I know, and I've come to the book. And I'm watching with mild interest as I rifle through his things again. So now absent-mindedly because I already did a fair amount of rifling earlier.
Honestly, I should make like the ritual caster feat so that I don't have to have my ritual spells prepared in order to cast them ritually.
Yeah, I nearly did that when I played a cleric.
It's not a bad idea.
Alright,
I almost did it as a paladin recently.
I'm desperately trying to find this one last setting before I import a token from Hero Forge into the game for the next area.
He's going to murder us with his new token.
I thought I had finished
That
it.
sounded like a no comment sound.
No, it's how
No
busy.
comment.
I don't even know where like the button is for like the face decals. I'm trying to turn them off. I don't even know why they're there in the first place.
Decals?
Not a clue. Are you talking about Hero Forge?
Hero Forge.
Oh, definitely no
This is
clue.
not actually a lever.
Anyway. Abracapocus. Alright.
Abracapocus.
Yeah,
Oh
you
wait, I
heard
don't
me.
actually. I changed my mind. I don't know why I decided to fuck with that. Anyway,
Excited to
now I'm
what?
just sitting here with a thought bubble over my head indefinitely.
I can't see the thought bubble if that's any consolation.
Oh, okay, cool. It's just me then.
I guess it's probably under.
How long have you built? Okay, we have an hour to find the nightmare.
Not that.
I'm gonna grab my Aurelion over here.
Is this is going to be our first time? Is it going to be our first time walking back to the Gnomish village from here? Did we have this the last time?
It'll only be your first time walking back if you actually walk back.
Are we not walking back?
I mean, you guys still have like at least 20 minutes of wind walk.
But I don't think
No,
that's enough to get
in
there.
days. We've been here for days, no?
Yeah, we have been here.
Oh,
days.
yeah, you have. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you would have to walk back.
I mean, I could dimension door two of us back by 1,000 feet, but
So you could dimension door twice.
very nice. Yeah. 500 feet, 500 feet.
Yes.
And I would dimension door 500 feet, then I would dimension door...
500 more. Just don't
Anyway.
be the girl who dimension doored 1,000 feet and fell down at your door. Ba-da-da-da.
God. What have I done?
There. I am.
Work on that cardio of casting 2 spells. Where's it at?
Ba-da-da-da.
Da-da-da.
Ba-da-da-da.
Da-da-da. Oh, hey, look! It's a tub. Sort
Okay,
of.
you found a tub.
I think it's 2 couches next to each other, but you know.
It is the closest I'm gonna get to a tub.
Have you just been fucking around in Hero for Tailspire the whole time we've been doing this?
Not the whole time.
I've been fucking around.
I've just been moving the camera around a lot. That's all. But anyway,
Come on, I just gotta.
okay.
That's not it.
I don't know what part of the song that is. It sounds like
No.
a different song.
Wouldn't we have searched around for the nightmare earlier?
Potentially. Or we were resting and not worrying about it.
Yeah.
I would have.
Wouldn't we have? And
For it.
did we?
At least in the Forgotten, inside the fortress, I would have wanted to make sure that there was no nightmare still in here.
Honestly,
We have to
I forgot
accept
that
some...
we actually fought that thing, so...
We have to... Just to get rid of some assumptions, because we are being made to skip over a bunch of stuff. Just
Okay.
say, you know, it doesn't make sense in character that we would have waited, but we did. We waited. It doesn't matter.
I mean, we can still hand wave, yes, we saw the thing and we fought it, or no, we didn't. Or, yes, we saw the thing and we fought it, but we're gonna do that fight now instead.
Ugh.
We already asked questions about it.
Alright, well, I can't find the settings, so I'm gonna just get this version and call that good.
What detail did you put on their face?
This is like the tattoo war paint kind of thing, which... And then there's like blood on the swords, which I wanted to get rid of.
I mean,
What?
isn't that just under the decals thing, under appearance?
Decals! You know, that would have been a good place to look.
You even used the word decal.
Like,
I did,
can't...
didn't I? Yeah, I'm dumb.
You did.
Let's not talk about that.
This is really unsettling.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm made of amazing, I know.
So, sorry, stream, you don't get to see this. Actually, I mean, I guess... No, sorry, you don't get to see this, but, I opened up Hero Forge, and this is what it opened up to. It has since corrected itself, but Jesus fucking Christ.
That's fair, though. Alright, you open the thing, I purchase the thing, and we're good to go.
She clearly seems perturbed about something. You dare look upon my statue?
Who's brave enough to look into this bag?
Not I.
Alright.
Shadows in that face are ominous.
Shadows on her face?
Yeah.
Yeah. An ominous shadow crosses their face. Their expression darkens. They turn into a monster in
This
each.
character has such a great beard.
Okay. Now that I've got that fixed.
Your character's beard?
That's great beard. Great beard and mustache.
I like the beard. The mustache is a little banana-like. 2 bananas growing out of your nostrils.
Hey, you see
Where
it
are you guys right now?
in the thing. I'm seeing it over Twitch. So it's I'm not getting like probably the high resolution you're getting.
Okay.
Where are you? Oh, wait, there you guys are. I mean, you have no room to talk about mustaches, Mr. Dad Stash.
Dad Stash is best stash.
Word stash,
I will
Mr.
hear no dissent about this.
Now that I have that token finished, what is it you guys are looking to do next? Travel towards the Gnomish village?
Somebody
Look for
wanted to kick
nightmare.
the ass of a nightmare.
Yeah,
Alright.
Nightmare or hand waving that we already did so.
Do you guys have a preference? Like, I could have you guys roll some checks and try to find it now. Have you guys have already found it?
8.
I don't care. I'm just saying that it's a thing that we would want to do. I don't care whether we've already done it or we're doing it now.
Then I'm gonna throw 2 together and send you guys run across it on your way back towards Noah's Village.
Sure, sounds great.
So let me see what maps I have that are generic forest.
A bunch.
You know, not as many as you'd think. Alright, so... Not that, no. Maybe that. This thing's larger than I'd like, but it'll do.
This thing's connected to, that thing.
Alright, I'm gonna need a marker block here. I need to summon all players, which is under players. Yay! Fetch players to this particular spot in case you weren't already.
I'm in a stony area.
Good, that's where you're supposed to be.
Oh.
That's a demon dog. I'm looking for a demon horse.
This is creepy looking. I love it. Wait, this looks like the same map that we were on with Eric, but like sunsetier.
It's not the same map. The one with him was much, much smaller.
Fair enough. Where are we?
In a little rocky area near a bay.
Where I'm
Oh,
dragging tokens. Let's see.
Oh, I see. So we're
Nope,
not
that's not what I need. That's what I need. Nope. 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 That one. That one.
If you said goodbye to me. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. I can't sing right now, apparently.
There would be music in my life.
Whoa.
What should I say?
Nope. Alright, so that's the closest we're gonna get. Did I put you guys all in? Yeah, I did. Sorry.
Aw. Belisari, you're glowing.
I'm glowing. I don't know where I am.
Click on your face.
Oh, wait. I see me now.
Click on your face.
Alrighty.
Oh, that's
So you guys,
that's a thing.
so you guys are able to make this thing out from a distance. Do you guys want to like approach kind of stealthily, fire from a distance,
Fenrir!
charge forward, walk up and try and talk to it?
Hero Forge had a lot of things. Anyway. Fuck.
I don't think that was one of our listed options.
No, it's definitely not a
I
suggestion.
mean, it might not be a listed option.
I would like to order off menu.
I'm definitely not rolling to seduce a nightmare.
Well, didn't quite have a horse, but you know, Hellhound I think will work.
I mean, I can't use the Wall of Force trick again, and even if I could, it would do no good because we can't do anything between them other than, I mean, I guess we can put it in a Wall of Force and then talk to it, but anyway. I will defer to everybody else. I'm just here being a wizard.
We're here because you wanted to find it.
Well, yeah, I know.
We've already deferred to you.
But in terms of our specific approach...
Nope, too bad. You're in it. Pick.
It also occurs to me... What do I know about their stat block? Like, specifically, you know, defenses? Like, specifically, is it immune to frost?
No.
Okay, good.
It was not immune to frost like last circle. You can try to hit it with that thing, so.
Made of fire, though.
So yeah, once it gets fire, but frost is fine.
Yeah, okay, good. I mean, again, I'm not a frontliner.
You are the one that suggested that it could perhaps change its nature and not be a problem.
I mean, technically, I asked if that was a possibility.
Well, we can't know that until we speak to it, so... Shall we speak to it?
So we know that they speak Common and Infernal.
We know that they understand languages, but they do not speak them.
I see. Oh, detect thoughts is useful for that.
Indeed. So, given that we are here to make sure it is not a problem for the locals, and that there's a possibility that we could not have to kill it to do that, I suggest that we attempt to approach it, as friends, or allies, or neutral at best.
As we are. Come as we are. Anyway.
As we are as well armed.
Anyway. We said they're a fiend?
Yes.
Beautiful.
They are a fiend, but they are not actually a devil or a demon. They are one of the very, very few creatures that are fiends, but neither of those subtitles.
But
that could be just because it depends on what made them.
Ow.
Not from the way it looks, from what I can tell. There are a few creatures that don't fall into that category, like succubi.
I miss our other
Succubi are devils.
protection from evil and good generators. Okay, well, then let's approach, I suppose.
Alright.
How does it react to us approaching?
Well, not well. Please roll initiative.
Yeah, I figured.
Joy.
Back up a smidge. Battle music would probably be good.
Nice.
Alright, what are the initiatives we got?
10.
On that.
2.
I'm just gonna roll these dice because I left mine over someplace else. Alright. So I heard a 10 from Aurelion.
Yep.
2 from Roland. Oh, sorry, what'd you get?
I got 6. I mean, sorry, 8. Also, this battle music is strangely reminiscent of Sonic. I feel like.
Okay. Well, Roland, you managed to go first with a 10, so have fun.
At what point does it notice us and become hostile, range-wise?
If you're just walking up to it, then probably a bit further back, actually. I'd say maybe here-ish. Its passive perception isn't great, so it's not, like, super far out that it notices you. Yeah, it's about 35 feet out from Aurelion. Roll it.
Well then. Oh,
It is your turn.
even further back now, okay. Let us take a look. What are our options? Fire. This whole person. Oh, help if I actually gave myself that long rest.
Are we willing to hand wave that I have already cast See Invisibility?
Sure, because you guys did notice it first.
Okay.
I suppose at this distance I will just open with a cantrip. I'm going to go with Thaumaturgy to make myself heard over distance and speak to it in Common, because that was one of the languages he told us it understands. And with a shield on but no weapon in my hand, no weapon in hand. I'll hold my hands up to show that. Just say, we would like to speak with you about your future plans. If you could talk to us, it would be great.
Alright.
We'll only fight
Anything
if you
else?
make us fight. Yeah, I guess I'll use my movement to try and approach. I'll move up 15.
Alright.
And then doing it slowly. And, yeah. No weapon in hand, at least for now, because I can draw that as part of the attack action, so I don't really have to worry about that. And yeah, that's it.
Alright. In response, you'll see... check this. Wording... Doesn't really say either way, so try it myself. So you'll see kind of fiery wings sprout from its back as it goes aloft.
I guess we didn't need to regrow things after all.
But it's like wings are like pure flame. It doesn't appear to be like any substance to them. But with as slowly as it's moving, you get the sense that it could make its way to you guys if it wanted to, but essentially just staying a bit out of reach for the moment.
How kind of it.
No, sorry. Your turn.
I will cast Detect Thoughts. Actually, is it in range yet? I'm gonna...
It's exactly 30 feet out.
What? Is that?
The dome thing is going to count more on diagonals, which is what you're on.
Well, yeah, but I'm on, hang on.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Oh, hey,
30.
look at that. Cool. Okay. Well, in that case, I'll take one step forward just for good measure and say, and cast Detect Thoughts. Do I get any initial surface level thoughts?
Curiosity and distrust. Nothing really formed in words at the moment. Just general feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect to get necessarily specific words, but anyway. And I'll say I have cast Detect Thoughts. I can now... You can now communicate with me simply by thinking.
Do you speak Infernal?
I do not speak Infernal.
Well, you immediately start
Cast
hearing
tongues.
things in Infernal.
Great. Okay, put a pin in that. I need another turn.
It looks at you confused. Get in turn and ready.
Alright.
Early on, your turn.
Did we say that the plan was to try and talk to this thing?
Yeah.
So, okay, with that in mind, I am going to take two. Was I told what languages this thing speaks?
Common
Yeah.
and Infernal.
No, was Aurelian told?
You were present for the conversation, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take 2 steps forward and prepare to attack it if it attacks. If it comes towards. 1, 2, yeah. Ugh. If it comes towards me, aggressively, I will fight it. So I'm prepared to attack.
Alright, roll it. Your turn.
I guess I just continue on speaking common. It is difficult for a fiend to exist on the material plane, but an agreement could be come to for coexistence. Otherwise, I suggest you return to the lower planes. Peacefully.
I still don't know what it's thinking. Do I get general, like, senses of feelings, at least? Accompanying the, presumed slew of Infernal that's about to come out?
You get some resentment at the words return to the lower planes. Anything else rolling?
I don't think so. I didn't use an action this time, so I guess, yeah, I would prepare to attack if it attacks me.
Alright. It's kind of
Pace.
glide and fly and circle around a bit, but not far. It seems to be trying to make eye contact with Belsari. Belsari, it is your turn.
Oh, fuck me! Tongues doesn't work!
Not if it's not speaking.
It's not spoken. Fuck, I don't know how to do this!
Would you roll me an intelligence check?
Yeah. 12 on die. What am I actually adding to it? The intelligence modifier, right?
Yep.
16.
So, it's possible that it might be able to think in common if you simply asked. But it might just be defaulting to Infernal.
Oh. Okay, so then she'll like kind of look like she's starting to cast a spell and then be like, fuck no, that doesn't work. Can you think in common? Unfortunately, none of us, or at least I don't speak Infernal, right?
Yep, we're fine. Check one thing, but you'll get back in somewhat slow thoughts. Yes.
Ah, good open communication. Hello, I'm Melisari. This is Aurelion. This is Roland. Is there a name we can call you? It feels so ridiculous.
I have no name. Not anymore.
I will pass that on to the others.
Alright. And then to have a wish to destroy as we not want to do.
How do we want to, like, logistically play this from here? Just kind of say we pause initiative while we chat, or?
Sure, we can do that.
There's a conversation until somebody attacks.
Indeed. I don't know what else to say. Why am I being a diplomat? I kill things. I just kill things. I'm not saying any of this in character, but I am having a miniature
true at
identity
all.
crisis. I mean, just because it's technically not true doesn't mean it's not the way I want to approach things.
Lazy.
What?
Lazy
Lazy?
is a scholar who is a knowledge seeker.
Mm-hmm.
And you just destroy things, especially those that don't fit the mold.
I mean, no.
Things that don't fit the
Okay,
mold are
anyway.
often fascinating.
It's true. But when things annoy me, my preference is to just smoosh them. Anyway.
I can't stop you from smooshing this horse.
I mean, I'm not gonna smoosh this horse.
You could smoosh this horse.
I'm not smooshing
No
this
one
horse.
can stop you.
I think the horse might be able to stop me.
I feel like it can.
I don't know. I don't have a single spell or single turn smoosh spell.
What, haven't learned the spell Jumbo Boulder yet?
What?
I said, I haven't learned the spell Jumbo Boulder yet?
Jumbo boulder? No.
I'm gonna learn the
That's
spell
the
Rocks
Rajna
Fall, all my
special.
enemies die.
Anyway. The Rajna special. I don't want to make assumptions about your presence here on this plane. Atlas told us that he had... Well...
Yeah, you're going to see the nightmare immediately start tensing and growing somewhat hostile at the mention of Atlas.
Yeah, I figured as much. He has departed this plane. But we wanted to see if there was anything we could do for you.
You see something you never expected to see. A horse attempting to raise its eyebrow.
Is that a good expression?
It hasn't thought anything at me, so I don't know.
Really? Like, for the week?
What?
Has he left for the week? 2 days? What?
Oh no, he's gone. He has repented of his sins and passed on to the next life, afterlife, however you want to put it,
Next stage.
to be judged by his, well, I don't know how death works. I won't pretend to know how death works. I actually probably have done a fair amount of research into how death works, so never mind. Have I mentioned player is very tired?
It's fine. And why should I believe you? Matter of fact, why shouldn't I be killing you?
Well, we asked you nicely not to.
Yes, but I'm hungry and you're food.
Is there not food to be found elsewhere?
Not much, and especially not much big enough not to be burned to a crisp by the time it makes it into my mouth.
I think you would find us a very unpalatable meal, however.
I'll be answers of that.
I do not think I like the direction of whatever this conversation is going. The side of it that I can hear is disturbing.
Do you have a gender?
Are you attempting to mate with it?
I'm attempting to find out what pronouns I should use.
Why did you not just ask for the pronouns then?
Let's go with yes and she, her.
Okay.
Should we be attempting to mate with it?
I have no intention of attempting to mate with her. She was simply remarking, why should she not simply try to eat us? And I'm telling her I think she would find us unpalatable. We, would put up a bit of a fight.
I give it. The problem with this direction is that it sounds very fiend-like, and as any cleric probably could tell you, fiends are fiends are fiends. They are slave to their nature in most cases.
Most indicates not all.
Most indicate all that I am aware of, and the ability to accept that there are those I am not aware of. And so, turning toward the flying horse, are you an exception to these cases?
Melisari kind of side-eyed roll and then turned her attention back to the nightmare.
Have you desire to defy the nature of the fiend? To be a creature at peace with the world around you here on the material plane?
I could go back to the form that was often fed freely and not shot at with arrows, that'd be much appreciated. But I think we both know that's not going to happen.
Should I assume you're referring to... Do we know whether it was Pegasus or Unicorn? Was that a
Pegasus.
definitive answer? Pegasus for sure?
For sure.
Definitively Pegasus. says it right there on the nightmare page.
Uh-huh.
Says Pegasi.
Pegasi.
Yeah. Pegasi.
Bugasi.
Bugatti.
Anyway. Something like that. Debussy? Alright, I'm done.
Degrassi. I wasn't done.
Damn it, that was one that I was gonna use.
I didn't use the one I would have used.
What were you gonna
And he
use?
took the high road.
Yeah.
We took the low road.
Well, we'll be in Scotland before him.
Oh, there's a much lower road.
Anyway, did she answer the question?
Hang on, sorry.
Remember, I can only hear what you say. So if you just
There is
start...
not a significant lull in conversation. I am just laughing because we are stupid. I was going to say in character, can I assume you're referring to your form being prior to this state as a Pegasus?
It looks at you slightly confused as it's trying to work through that sentence.
It was a bit of a garden path.
Yes.
Well, you know what?
It was more like I felt like you forgot the word Pegasus again, and you were just adding in words until you could remember it.
Melisari has a hand to her forehead and kind of like rubbing her temple. You know what? No, I'm not going to justify it. What if we could find a way? Oh, she was simply saying that she would, if she could return to a form that wasn't shot at, attacked, etc. on site, then that would
You just kind of see Roland leaning out with like kind of a wide-eyed expression, and he sort of like hisses at you. Are you writing promissory notes that we lack the external financial support to reimburse?
I am merely wondering if it were possible, if that was a path that she would be interested in pursuing. I do not even know if it is possible. I suppose perhaps I should have led with that. I am of the mind that anything is likely possible. It's just a matter of how much time, effort, and resources you can put into it.
Just what's it going to cost?
Well, a promise of peace while we determine if such a thing is even possible. And beyond that, I really have no way of knowing.
You keep me fed, I'll stop eating things. You know, that don't want to be eaten.
And what do you eat?
She not say she would eat us.
Well, yes.
I do not want to be eaten.
Yeah, but if it's meat, then I don't think any living creature wants to be eaten.
Pretty much anything that takes a fair amount of heat to cook, so that it's not, you know, nothing
Jarred
when it enters my mouth.
Wait, she likes charred things?
No, she likes non-charred. Well, she likes things that are not disintegrated by the time she's able to eat them.
Oh. This sounds like an important part of the
So-
conversation to be aware of.
Presumably large creatures?
Like a horse?
I've heard of these things called cows. They sound delicious.
I imagine they're in short supply on Elysium.
What are?
Cows. Apologies.
Oh,
Forgetting.
cows.
Where would I find these cows?
you send her away from Elysium, other hunters will probably kill her, or try to.
I am not suggesting that she leave Elysium. I am simply trying to work out how we can feed a nightmare for however long it takes to figure out if such a thing is possible.
I suppose one could do the math on what a significantly large slab of meat costs and determine what our funds would be able to buy in total. And then perhaps our presence alongside such a surprising creature would prevent, escort places that we go to, and we would not have to worry that she is not holding up her end because she would be with us. As it sounds like you are offering a deal.
I'm offering a hope of a deal, yes?
So, these things must be weighed and considered.
Yes. And I am considering them.
Okay, but I mean,
How much do you eat and how often? Like, okay, if we were to say a cow is roughly the same size as you, how many cows would you need to eat within a given month?
please ask how many days are in a month.
I was thinking about it. How long's a month?
Approximately 1 moon cycle. Right, that's a good way to put it. I'm not daft
I
here.
think. Why? 3, 4. Like, I imagine it would just eat more, like a bit more than a normal horse, but I have no idea how much a normal horse eats. And it
Well,
wouldn't
I mean, a
normally be
normal
meat.
horse also eats
Yeah, not meat.
vegetation.
Yeah.
And the energy differential, I don't know what that would entail.
So I'm gonna call it 4. So basically a cow a week.
Okay. That's a lot of meat.
And a cow costs 10 gold.
10 gold a week.
For the entire cow.
Yeah, apparently, yeah, that's listed in the player's handbook.
That
There's
was
10 gold pieces
cheap.
for 1 cow.
We could just buy a cow whenever we want. It's 10 gold worth of incense to summon a familiar. You can just buy a cow. Who fucking
But
needs
a
a
cow doesn't
familiar?
do your bidding.
Look,
A cow
cows.
can't fly places and tell you what it sees.
You can either get 1 square yard of silk or a cow. 10 gold.
Detect thoughts and tongues.
What about detect thoughts and tongues?
Then you can have a cow go where you wanted to go and find out what it saw.
A pig is 3 gold.
You with cow, pigs, whatever. So she said 1 cow a week.
Approximately 1 cow a week, yes. Which
That's
means that this is actually
surprisingly
relatively
sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask.
I don't know why cows are that cheap, but they are, so I'm gonna roll with it.
He kind of leans over and says, Asuka, then he kind of shakes his head and he turns back toward us. Would you like to travel with us? We would offer you protection and food. And in exchange, you just don't kill anything we tell you not to kill. And then he turns back to Melisari for the answer.
If you can give me food by the end of the day.
What? What did Roland just say? Roland?
He asked if the fire horse wanted to come with us.
No, the thing about killing.
Oh,
I want to know the actual wording of that.
Not kill anything we said not to kill.
I'm mulling that over my head to see what kind of loophole is in there.
apparently they're not devils in this edition, which is what they were before.
They're not. They are just fiends. They're actually even neutral evil. One of the very, very, very few fiends that is that, as most are devils or demons, which are, lawful or chaotic.
They've kind of made this decision that there's a bunch of fiends that can be... They're not really naturally created in either one of the two places, and don't naturally lean personality-wise toward either side, so they can end up on either side of... There's a big conflict down there between Hell and the Abyss.
Yep.
And they can be on either side.
Well, and from the description of Nightmare is more like a corrupted celestial, so it's not even made in the either of the realms. It would be made somewhere in the material plane, and one got sent here, and then.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
captured.
Previous editions were a little more binary because the difference between Hell and the Abyss was a pretty important distinction.
I mean, it's still almost always that or the one or the other in 5e, but
Well, yeah.
there are some exceptions.
There weren't exceptions as far as I can recall before.
Anywho,
Okay, so question regarding divination. I can ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. Am I able to ask if something is possible in a theoretical sense?
what's the spell say again? Is this divination or commune?
Divination. You ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. So this is a specific goal.
So, goal to get the horse fed.
Well, it was gonna be to even determine if, this is worth the effort.
You could, though it would be hard to know, as you're not sure if this is possible. It would likely require some, time and effort. So even if it is possible, it might be outside of the time restriction.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was figuring.
So you can try, but it's hard to know what kind of how accurate your response would be. Just with how nebulous the question is.
Okay, well. I mean, I could still divination to find us food for it, in theory. Although I would have to word it carefully so as to not, have us on the list of potential answers.
Yep.
I
Well,
just can't believe a cow is 10 gold.
given the number of times you fought these things, you could probably find a Gorillon around here somewhere, which would have enough meat on it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Big, meaty claws.
What is that sound for?
Because it's gotta be meaty. Have enough meat.
Anyway. What?
Dummy thick.
Oh dear. The clap of the Girlon's ass cheeks is alerting the guards.
Oh.
Are we the guards? I
We
hope
are
that's
the
me.
guards.
That's excellent.
What's
So
that sound?
I know-
It's a Giralon.
So I know we need to start kind of late today. Are you still good to go for a bit, Tristan, or do we need to start?
I've been
down?
checking. I don't think they're meeting today, so I'm good to go for a little bit longer.
And,
All right.
same question for Thomas, too. It's late for him.
I can go for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
think that we probably can easily find some that is worth hunting and utilize here. I'm just also looking at the cost benefit of having this critter indicating the nightmare, as an ally as opposed to an enemy, or even disrupting its existence on this plane. And we always have that option if you give us no other choice. So, I think that if we can make a coexistence work, then it could be mutually beneficial.
In other words,
By a friend.
did you say fire friend or buy a friend?
I said fire friend.
Okay.
Although both are somewhat accurate.
Yes, it's true.
Yes.
Although friend might be within a stretch.
Yeah.
Friendship takes time.
This day has taken a strange turn. Anyway.
It's kind of two options here. Make friends, or we don't make friends. So.
I mean, yes, I was simply going to say, I think we can manage to find you some food if we can, you know, if this is the agreement we wish to make. Directed at the, nightmare.
I'll follow you. You give me food, then we'll talk. You try anything or I see more people, I leave.
Well, eventually we will return to civilization, and then there will be more people.
I just mean until there's food. After that, we can talk.
Right. Then we should roll d20s to forage.
Wait.
If I can use that in character voice, you just popping out dice and rolling it on the ground.
I'm rolling in the palm of my armored hand. I get to 6.
I mean, it could be a roll the bone sort of situation. I mean, that's effectively what I'm. Well, no, I don't actually have.
Survival to hunt things. I got a 20, a dirty 20.
Anyway. Maybe I should save divination. Yeah.
Do you have locate object or creature?
Sadly, no.
Funny you should ask.
How long specifically do we have?
I have locate creature.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm gonna go with 12 hours.
Okay, sounds great. 12 hours to find a big beastie.
Locate creature, it lasts for an hour and lets me know about this creature if it gets within 1,000 feet. So, I'm gonna hunt us up a deer.
A what now?
A deer.
A badir?
A badir.
Yeah, when you say Badir, it makes me think Bahir.
I didn't say badir. I said a deer, and she said
I heard
badir.
I heard badir.
I said, I'm going to hunt us up a deer.
Ah,
I think
that'll
the
do
up
it.
got kind of compressed.
Yeah, the up turned into ub.
I'm gonna hunt us up a deer.
Yes. Okay. So.
I'm casting my spell of 4th level. Pew. I have 3 4th level spells. What the fuck level am I? Oh, I'm 9. Nice.
Detect thoughts only lasts a minute. I forgot about that aspect
Nice.
of the spell.
I'm sure this wasn't fucking 20 minutes of us talking to this horse.
It was longer than a minute, but I'm just gonna hand wave it because. Oh well, it's been interesting. It's worth it.
It's a
I mean, I can spend one more spell slot. To
Sure.
Kind of.
Does locate creature find just the one closest? Like, ping everything that fits the target in the area?
Well, locate creature says describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. You sense the direction to the creature's location as long as that creature is within 1,000 feet of you. If the creature is moving, la-di-da-di-da. Locate a specific creature known Or the nearest creature of a specific kind. Yeah, I would do that. Nearest creature of a specific kind. Such as, not a unicorn, but a deer.
Okay.
Because I feel like, even with all the zombies roaming around, there still be wildlife here, and that's, like, big. So that should do.
Yeah. There's, like, I mean, from your travels here, you know there's, like, some, and, like, there used to be quite a bit, but over the last few years, like, it's been dwindling.
Mm. Well, I'm not helping. Were you expecting me to say Garrulon and then fight a four-armed monkey?
Mm-hmm.
I bet we could kick a four-armed monkey's ass now.
I mean, you did last time.
Did we? I wasn't there for it.
Yeah, you were.
I knew you were.
When you fought the undead versions.
Oh. Yeah, that. Yeah, we trounced those. I forgot. I mean, you guys fought a live one when I wasn't there.
That's true.
Yeah. Alive 2 or 3.
Yeah. I was off saving a damsel in distress.
Oh, Eskel.
Look,
Hey, it worked out in the end.
He's good at his job. Yeah, she didn't turn out to be a Trojan horse or anything.
I mean, technically she didn't.
She could have.
She definitely could have.
Definitely maybe sort of was at one point, then wasn't.
Because those two deaths.
No, because I was like, you know what? This will make a better story.
Eskel was so anti-horny that she just stopped being a succubus.
Alright, so you try to find a deer somewhere within 1,000 feet. How long does the spell last?
It lasts for 1 hour.
For an hour.
Yep.
Okay.
Concentration up to 1 hour.
And if it's lasting for an hour, and it's that big a range, yeah, you'll find at least one, probably two.
He, like, pulls out, like, a little bit. I don't need to. I am a cleric. I can just use my... Fuck. I can just use my shield. Like, it has a material component. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm a cleric. I just use my holy symbol instead.
Yeah, as long as it's, you know, not gold cost, of course.
Yeah, no, this is a bit of fur from a bloodhound. But I don't need that shit.
Yeah.
Instead, he just pulls out his amulet of Illustrae, whispers at it a moment, and then goes, point!
Point.
Does he say point?
That would be a very Shagrazir thing to do, wouldn't it?
But you're not Shagrazir.
He's not. No, he was not. I have the trail. Move slowly, follow me. And we hunt us up a deer.
Did you actually say what we were hunting?
Yeah. Everybody knows that
Okay.
we're hunting up a deer.
Okay.
Can I get some stealth rolls?
Oh man, so good.
Right, that.
That is like my best stat.
Or survival, actually, if you're better at those.
I got an 18 on survival.
Oh, bollocks. That looked like it was going to be a good roll, and then it rolled off the desk. That is a less good roll.
Aurelion.
A 10.
For survival, that would be a 7.
Alright, let me double check it to your stat block, 'cause I'm sure there's something like it, at the very least. In that final... let's see, what else do we have? Miscellaneous creatures.
Are you better at stealth than survival, perhaps, Aurelion?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you should roll for that.
They can have exactly a deer stat block.
There we go.
Alright, so it was a 13, an 18, and what did you get, Melsari?
10.
No, it was two 18s, because I also got an 18.
Oh, I thought, I
Aurelion.
guess I misheard Aurelion.
He rolled... His stealth is better, so he rolled his stealth afterward, realizing that he could have... He didn't know he had a choice.
Ah. Okay. So, this is a group stealth check. 2 of you passed, 1 of you failed. That's good enough. You are able to sneak up on the deer. It almost gets alerted by a misstep from Nulsari, as one of you is able to take it down. Be it by spell or bow, that is up to you, but it's got a grand total of 4 hit points. I'm not going to bother to have you try it.
Told
Kill
the dad and just make it brain dead. That sound is Taco Bell.
Doom.
Think outside the bun.
I almost had Taco Bell for dinner last night.
I did have Taco Bell for dinner last night.
Nice.
Alright, so you guys now have 1 deer, and you can have 2 if you want, because because they're not typically the most solitary animals.
I
True.
mean, 2 deer is better than 1, right?
Well, then there's 1 for us and 1 for her.
Unless she wants both.
I mean,
Or we can save the deer for the second for later.
that's very difficult.
At this point, I need to recast Detect Thoughts. I'm gonna be using my entire day's worth of spells on Detect Thoughts.
Yeah. Probably.
So what's the wording on tongues, out of curiosity?
Spoken.
Yeah.
No, like...
Oh. The spell grants the creature you touch the ability to understand any spoken language it hears. Moreover, when the target speaks, any
when
creature...
the target speaks, okay.
Yeah, that knows at least one language can hear the target, understands what it says.
That's why I say spoken. Everything it does is spoken.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it would maybe give it the ability to speak, because I don't think it has any. Because I'm not sure if it's a physical, magical, or what prevents it from speaking. I'd imagine it'd be magical because Pegasus can speak. Oh wait, no, they can't. They just understand more languages.
Yeah, it's probably just a physical limitation.
Yep.
Yeah, horse mouths,
Somehow I'm being transformed into a fiend. It forgets how to speak Celestial, Elvish, and Sylvan.
It's a really traumatic experience, okay?
I mean...
It also gets gets a lot worse at saving throws. So its HP and armor class go up.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So we have... Alright, then I guess I'm gonna I'll let you eat when you're ready to discuss further. I don't know, make a motion to do a little stomp, I guess.
Do a little dance.
Yeah, no.
Make a
Alright.
little
I'm
stomp.
gonna double check one thing.
Get down tonight. Get down tonight.
Alright. So, it's gonna eat and then do its best to initiate communication.
Okay, I cast Detect Thoughts.
Now, if you can keep these coming, I'll stick around and keep my hooves to myself.
Did she like
While
the
you
idea?
work on the original problem. And as I'd imagine, my presence being a problem for any towns, civilization, whatnot, we should probably develop at least minor communication for outside of this. So, 1 stomp for no, 2 for yes.
Indeed, and I just realized that I have been probably talking without my mic open.
Yep.
So, I was trying to ask DM, I know we had briefly touched on restoring a nightmare. Did Atlas have give any indication of a lead essentially on how to do that?
He just kind of had some musings on the thought, nothing that's like concrete. Because Roland had mentioned something along the lines of generate, and at that, Alice had mentioned maybe mixing it with like remove curse or something,
Gotcha.
just trying to restore its state. But these are just kind of off the cuff ideas, nothing with any like evidence or anything to really back it up.
Okay. Yes, at the very least, I was going to suggest some way for you to indicate when you would like to speak with us more directly, i.e. through this Detect Thoughts channel we have currently. Although it is very short-lived and requires resources.
How about I bite you?
I would prefer not being bitten, and I think that I speak for all of us.
Fine. Well, one stomp for no, 2 stomps for yes, 3 stomps for talk to me.
Okay. 1 for no, 2 for yes.
Correct.
3 for speak to me.
This is still, to our perspective, a one-sided conversation, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Like, every time this happens, I've
Yep.
kind of a slight
Until
concern
someone
about-
goes and gets telepathic bonds, that's how this is gonna work.
The only rough thing is that Kate isn't repeating any of the answers to us.
I'm bad at remembering to do these things. I mean, you're getting clips of what's happening. So, like, you know that I have suggested that we need a system of communication, at the very least, for her being able to request attention. You might be able to infer from that just based on phrasing that she said something about communication as well, but
So
anyway.
I imply from all of this talking that we have at least a tentative agreement to work together for some indeterminate period of time.
Yes. She has agreed to stick with us and keep her hooves to herself, I believe was the phrasing. What is that?
That's me. That's me just getting rid of
Oh.
things in the unique token things. It's getting too full.
I'm like,
And has she taken a name that we can use to refer to her? You said earlier that she had one, but not any longer.
I will look expectantly at the nightmare.
No names, at least not yet.
Fair enough. She does not wish for us, or is this what I'm inferring, that she doesn't want to use a name with us, for us to have a name for her?
That is correct.
Yes, okay.
Right,
So.
I don't know what it does for the morale to be called the nightmare all the time. But if I say, what does the nightmare think about this?
How about our companion?
Companion, I think, works.
Like 4 syllables. Alright.
Our companion thing. I mean, my name is 4 syllables as well.
It's Miss Melisari, it's 5.
Well, if you want to get so technical, then it's 9.
You haven't told me the other 4.
First last name, and Miss. Is that a wolf? Trying to sneak up? Oh no, you're continuing to delete tokens. Okay. You never know. There could be wildlife sneaking up. I don't know why wildlife would be trying to sneak up on us when we have a flaming horse with us, but you know.
I
Pretty
cannot use the other 4 if you do not tell me what they are.
Are you sure we haven't? I've never said my last name in front of
I don't
him.
think you've said your last name in front of any of the group.
No, I have. Oh, wait, no.
No.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
Nobody here knows my full
no.
name anymore.
Even Eskel only ever called you Melisari.
Yeah. I mean, he knew my last name, or he was told my last name. I introduced myself.
Okay.
So, when we first met. But, I mean, it's kind of a mouthful, so I don't expect people to use my last name.
Hey, I recognize that guy.
Hey!
Goodbye.
Bye, Eskel, he's dead!
Look, man, I gotta make space in here at some point.
Wait, does it run out?
It just gets harder to get to the ones that are lower down.
I've only got like 20 in mine, so...
For me, it's just personal preference. Now it's the party, the camel, the hellhound, and your spiritual weapon.
Yes. Mine now includes Moonbeam, and he's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's suddenly occurring to me that we haven't been back to the Gnomish village yet,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be quite the surprise.
Yeah.
No, like
Don't need the gnomes.
like this is coming from the nightmare. I can make myself scarce.
I mean, I wasn't saying it in character.
Well, like she had tried to indicate that earlier. I think while you were on mute and trying to talk.
Oh, right. With needing to, yeah, okay.
What's the problem?
Because while she does not know where you are going, she imagines cities are involved at some point.
Yes. It's very convenient that you can enter the ethereal plane at will. Is there any limit to that?
I can only take 3 people that aren't me.
Hey, that is all
Take
about.
3 people who aren't you?
Yes.
You're 3 people. Is travel through the ethereal plane any faster?
It is not.
It's more of a straight line, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh,
For it is not uninhabited, and should we run into trouble, you don't have a way out. Not to mention, I don't know, it's just effort.
Would make it so you don't have to go up and down mountains or use doors, which is probably considered crass.
What, going up and down mountains and opening doors?
No, not using doors.
Ah,
To get into someone's home.
Yes,
That would
yes.
be considered unfriendly.
Yes. She has also raised the point that the ethereal is not uninhabited, and
It's lightly inhabited, but not uninhabited.
I'm sorry, I missed why we are discussing the ethereal plane.
Right. So that she can hide herself when we need to find enter civilizations, so as to not immediately terrify all of the denizens.
Well, even...
And, firing arrows and such.
I do not like this plan.
Her entering the ethereal as needed?
Yes, I do not like needing it. We should endeavor to not need to do that.
It will require
Communication, understanding, warning. All things we can handle.
pre-planning in order to enter areas that are inhabited.
Potentially, people go in with horses all the time. But you know,
Yes,
they
those
do
horses
not.
are usually not on fire, and how well are nightmares known?
I mean, they're not like.
Whoops.
I mean, there's not like facts super well known about them, but I mean, you don't really need much. You see flaming, what looks like flaming demon horse. Conclusions are kind of drawn on their own.
He's giving you a very flat expression right now. Like, he does not want to spell things out.
I mean, she understands your hesitations. They are things that she is considering as well. But the fact of the matter is that, well, I guess this is also something that should not be necessarily spoken out loud. There is risk inherent in this plan, regardless. In order to not need this, we need to avoid civilization.
Why?
Because people will see a flaming horse.
People will see a drow. You want me to hide in the ethereal plane too?
No.
Then? She is one of
People
our
we
allies,
have
why is
come-
this different?
The people who we have come in contact with are more familiar with seeing a friendly drow than a friendly flaming horse.
And it will not change if we do not change it. You brought us out here to deal with this nightmare in a way that did not involve sending it back to the lower planes, and the opportunity that it could be an ally. Why should we not treat it as an ally? If you would take me to this village and explain that he is an ally and can be trusted, then why should this not also apply to her?
I'm gonna kind of turn toward-ish the nightmare in such a way that I'm like indicating that I'm involving her, I guess, in this statement. Maybe it'll make sense when I actually say the statement. I am going to say my understanding was that this was her preference versus I do not wish it to be necessary. She's going to state plainly, kind of changing tact halfway through the sentence, if that wasn't clear from my inflection.
State it one more time. I don't know if I just like the missed part or what. Sorry.
Basically, the part that involved her was just, it is my understanding that it's more for her comfort that she has suggested staying in the ethereal or dipping into the ethereal when needed.
I do find arrows rather uncomfortable.
She has, or her exact response is, she does find arrows rather uncomfortable.
If there are arrows, then that is our fault.
We will endeavor to make it not necessary. And I apologize, I did not mean.
He lowers his eyes but nods. Yes, it's difficult to change one's way of thinking, but that is why we had the conversation before, because even I was taught all of my life serving Los that fiends are not like people. They do not possess personality or the ability to make complex choices beyond what their nature drives them to do. But as I said earlier, that was always my understanding, and I use the term most because I accept that there could in fact be exceptions. But if I am to stick to my conviction that she is an exception and is capable of choosing something other than the nature of the, then we are treating her as a person. And I wish to be treated as a person. I would not want it to be tucked away, hidden from other people, be necessary forever. As you know, I too try to make myself as flexible and unimposing as possible, because I know how humanoids are. Non-drow are about drow. But I still want to put myself there. Open this door that your other friend has also been working open for the rest of society. I have people that I must protect. I'm sorry. This becomes a sermon. I would like to work on this, and thank you for your understanding as well as your apology.
It's easy for me to forget that there are different barriers in place for you than there are for me. And different barriers in place for her than there are for either of us. And while I do agree, I don't want her to have to hide. I don't want to have to tuck her away. We do also need to consider her comfort in this as well.
Of course. Just want her to know that it is our goal to treat her as an ally and not need for her to feel unsafe while she travels with us. As to help others to accept me, I want to help others to accept her.
Sorry, I'm just thinking of Melisari's brand of helping others to accept drow.
Glaring at them.
Glaring at them, shoving money at them.
Baby steps.
Is that what that Hero Forge image is?
The piercing stare of, stop asking questions and I won't have to hurt you.
Alright. If that is close to like our normal length of time, do we want to pause there?
Definite. Detect Thoughts is definitely worn off by now. We've reached an accord, and I think that's a reasonable place to stop. I talks good. I talks real good.
Oh yeah, today was just a whole day of good talk.
I mean, we had good roleplay in it too.
Yes, always.
Now who's that?
You'll see.
What?
New friend, my friend.
We'll
I'm
find
sorry,
out
did you say
next
you'll
week.
see? Oh, come now. Rude.
I was supposed to see you guys come back next week.
Oh my goodness. Oh wait, no. Next week we can't be back. My parents are in town.
But womp, womp, womp.
Week after
Well,
next, though.
This is kind of meant to be Ira.
Oh, cool.
Got it.
Neat, neat, neat. Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
That's
All
the
of
one
this
I
is
was.
very interesting.
That's the token I was trying to finish. In case you guys went straight back to the village.
Our air elemental friend.
Since when do we ever do anything quickly and concisely?
There was talk about it. There was a alternate universe in which that happened.
This is true. There was an alternate universe in which we just stomped this thing and continued on our way.
Or just ignored it entirely.
Or just ignored it entirely. Or
Byra.
just hand waved it away as, yeah, she just kind of went away somewhere. It's fine. So now we know that she's she.
Look, now we have a friend who can help us escape into the ethereal plane if we need to.
Yeah. This is cool. I feel so bad for Ari right now.
Because she wanted to pet the demon horse.
She wanted to pet the demon horse. We befriended a demon horse without the person who really, really wanted to befriend the demon horse.
I'll
Well,
say way back at some point.
sometimes that happens.
You know, we've done pretty cool things in this campaign.
I've got an idea for what the progression for this particular event should be. Yeah. Give me some fun ideas.
You just give the players a starting point and we write the story.
Yep. And I've got a decent idea of where the Indiana Jones style thing could go. Kind of, I guess the best way to describe them would be, can't think of the word. It just left my brain. I had it a second ago and now it's gone.
I mean, searching for hidden knowledge,
It's a
sort of deal.
found it. I have a few kind of set pieces in mind,
Ah,
kind of that you might end up at, you might not. One of which is should end up at, as it's kind of where the knowledge should be kept. Which I'll probably going to try building in the not too distant future. But yeah.
Are you having fun, Tristan, I assume?
Trying to figure out... There's a new button here, which has a character on it, which I imagined would mean that I can set out a zone and then still move tokens, but it doesn't seem to mean that, because I can't move the token after I set a zone. Oh, interesting. That's what it means.
What does it mean?
It means that when you have it activated, which is number 4 under measure, if you pick up a token and then move them, it gives you the distance as you're moving.
Interesting.
But I can't seem to, bend, unfortunately. I can't, multi-point move. Just has to be a straight line.
I can't actually pick them up.
You can't be in measure mode. You open
yeah.
up measure, hit 4, and then close measure, and then pick up a token.
This is really fun, though.
Okay.
Doo-doo-boo-boo-boo-ba, scooby-doo-ba-ba. Okay, anyway.
Skibidi-ba-dee-doo-dum-dee-dup-dup.
Why are you on top of me?
Why aren't I?
At the very least, when I take a dog and upscale that to large, it doesn't look ridiculously large for a horse. Unlike the horse.
Which the normal size token looks like a regular horse.
Yep.
Alright, I will end the stream then.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye bye.